Hello everyone, my name's Pan and welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City Fans podcast. Today's episode is looking back at the 1985-1986 season for Cardiff City at Ninian Park. So we're doing, if those have been watching, we're doing a podcast every Tuesday on one particular season. We started in 1980, that's the first year I went down, and we're now on the 85-86 season. So we ended the season before being relegated from the old Division 2 or the Championship in today's money. And again, going into the 85-86 season off the field, we were pretty skint. There was no real money in the boardroom. And, Alan Durbin was the manager. He came in sort of the middle part of the previous season, couldn't keep us up. And he for whatever reason, he was allowed, I think mainly financial, he was allowed to continue with us going into the 85-86 season. So, yeah, we did actually sign a lot of players. I think when I go through them, what I'll do first is I'll go through, bring up photos, as many as I can, and it might sort of bring back memories, really, of some of these players. I'd forgotten, a lot of these names, really, or faces to names. And then we'll look at the season itself, how we got on, summarise it, look at the sort of tendencies. We'll bring the league table up at the end, and that's how we sort of run it. So we'll start with the players we signed, and we really were, these players I'm going to mention now, they came in at different times during the 85-86 season. They weren't all signed originally in pre-season. But these are the guys who were coming this 85-86 season. Next, you've got Phil Brignall. He was a defender signed from Bournemouth. He played 49 games for City, born in London, now age 64, lives in Cheltenham and works as a financial advisor. Then you've got John Carver, age 60, born in Newcastle, played 13 games for City as a defender, and now is Scotland football men's team assistant manager. Then you've got David Corner, central defender born in Sunderland. David played 6 games for City on loan from Sunderland and is now 59 and works for Durham CID. Then you've got Wayne Curtis, born in Neath, now age 58. He played 27 games for City, scoring 2 goals. Then you've got Carlton Leonard, born in Oswestry, now age 67. Carlton played a few games for City and then went on to manage Oswestry's only nightclub with Andy Spring. He made 1 appearance for City, and in 92, Spring was reported to have won £250,000 or Irish pounds on the Irish lottery from a 25p stake. So an incredible story there. Andy Spring hit the jackpot there. Don't know what that's worth now, probably $1 million or $2 million. And he later worked in a prison, so maybe he gambled it all. And sadly, he passed away 3 years ago. Then you've got Nigel Stevenson. He was born in Swansea, now age 66, played 68 games for City at centre-back. He actually had played 4 games for Wales as well. And his last job was as a physiotherapist in a Swansea hospital. Then you've got Derek Christie, who played 19 times for City as a winger. He's born in Bletchley. We signed him from Reading, now age 68. And he was working at the Land Registry in Peterborough. Then you've got Jason Gummer, born in Tredegar, now 57. He played 34 times for City. In my view, he was a decent player. I remember Jason Gummer, obviously one of our own type of players, and I thought he had a bit of quality about him. I'm pretty sure he suffered a couple of big injuries, and that was a real shame because I think he had an engine on him. I think he played a number 8. And on his day, he had a bit of ability. So it's one of those players that could have made it, but obviously I think injury took the toll, and he ended his career at Ebbw Vale. Then you've got Chris Marustic. Another guy born in Swansea, played 43 times for City as a midfielder, scored 1 goal. Son of a Czech immigrant, played 6 times for Wales. Unfortunately for Chris, he did have alcohol addiction problems, and he passed away in 2015. Then you've got Paul Wheeler, born in Caerphilly. He played 101 times for City, scored 10 goals. High energy, number 9. I really like Paul as a player in terms of his tenacity. You know, his work rate was unquestionable, and it was a shame, really. He just couldn't find the back of the net more often than not. He's now age 60, and he actually, believe it or not, he played for Hereford and scored for Hereford against City. I think it was Edgar Street, Hereford's ground, and I think in front of 3,000 City fans that day. So yeah, City fans don't have fond memories of that game. But yeah, Paul Wheeler, again, like Jason Gummer, had ability, just couldn't make it, in the end. Then you've got Mark Farrington, the striker signed from Norwich. He played 31 times for City, only scored 3 goals. Later played most of his football in Holland and Germany. He actually played 5 times for Feyenoord as well, believe it or not, and he ended up at Runcorn after having an absolute disaster at West Brom. West Brom fans will tell you he's one of their worst players of all time. I remember Mark Farrington joining City from Norwich, and because it was Norwich, I thought, oh, wow, this player's, he's going to have some quality, but we didn't really see much of that. Then you've got Will Foley, now age 65. He's born in Scotland, played 7 games for City as a forward, only scored 1 goal before going back to non-league football. Jerry Nardiello, interesting name, Maltese heritage. The forward played 7 games for City, scoring 4 times on loan from Shrewsbury, but with no money to spend, City, we couldn't buy him. And believe it or not, he went to Torquay. He did okay there, scored 11 in 37. His brother Donato actually played for Wales twice, and his son Daniel, he was started at Man United and played for Wales as well. And then finally, the last 2, Taki Micallef, we actually re-signed. He actually paid a fee for Taki. More of a squad player. He came back for £15,000. And then you've got finally Robbie Turney, the striker born in Easington, now age 58, signed from Huddersfield. And he played 38 games for Cities. Not bad. He scored 8 times. And he now owns a furniture company. So those are the players that came in over the season. I mean, there was a lot of those lads were free transfers. They weren't. I'd say Taki 15,000 was one of our biggest outlays there. So it was a case of looking around for players in the lower kind of divisions, some non-league. Certainly, we were lacking goals, so a lot of these players were coming in with strikers. So yeah, we went into the 85-86 season. Started really on fire, really. We had a fantastic 4-1 away win at Notts County, which is really good. But then it all went pear-shaped in our next game, home to Chesterfield, and we lost 2-0. City then beat Newport away 2-1, with Nigel Vaughan getting the winner. But City didn't win any of their next 9 games, losing 7 of them, including 3-1 to the Wurzels in front of only 4,412 City fans. City's next win was against Wigan at home 3-1, and there was only 2,000 fans there that day. So, some of the younger fans, if they are listening to this, they may be shocked really at kind of the attendances we were used to back in the day. And City then lost their next 6, including a shocking 6-3 away defeat to Walsall. So City then drew with Wolves at home, which was a pretty encouraging result, but then lost again in their next game at Lincoln 4-0. And incredibly, City turned that around in the next game, beating Chesterfield 4-3 away. And we beat the Jacks then 1-0. That was our highest crowd of the season, just under 10,000, with Nigel Vaughan scoring a late winner there. And we then drew with Newport at home in front of 7,000 fans. we actually then drew away to Plymouth 4-4, and City's run extended to 6 games, beating Brentford at home and drawing at Reading. But then City's bad run continued. We only had 1 win in our next 5 games at home to Blackpool. And, things are pretty bad off the field, as I said. There was no money at the club. The fans were really against Alan Durbin. I mean, there was a lot of negativity around the club the season before. A lot of fans didn't like him anyway. So the fact that he was a manager going into the 85-86 season didn't sit well with City fans. And as I said, in our next 9 games, believe it or not, after the Blackpool game, we didn't win any at all, including 5-0 defeat at Bolton and a 2-0 defeat at the Jacks. So City then, at this stage, had 6 games to go, and were very near the bottom 3. Probably needed at least 4 wins to stay up. But City lose 3-0 to Bury and draw at home to Walsall. So City now really are in a point where we've got to win, at least 3 of our last 4 games to have any chance of staying up. And we start really encouraging. We beat Bristol Rovers 2-0 at home, but then lose at Wolves 3-1, even though at that stage Wolves were as good as down. They were actually finished bottom of the table, believe it or not. And going into the final game, it was all irrelevant really, because Lincoln were just above us, but they knew they were safe in terms of points difference. So we actually beat Lincoln 2-1, and we ended up actually 22nd of 24 teams, with Lincoln 1 point ahead of City and staying up. So it was a disastrous season. Alan Durbin got sacked, as you'd expect. He should have got dismissed well before the season ended. Really, some of the runs we were having. We thought last season was bad. I mean, that 85-86 season was probably one of our worst of all time, really. So many defeats in that season. And to think we'd been relegated the season before. So you imagine now we've been relegated from the Championship to League One. And I shouldn't say this, but if we got relegated again, I mean, that would just be horrendous. And this is what happened in the 85-86 season. It was the first time that Cardiff City Football Club had gone down to the old 4th Division or League Two. And it was an all-time low. I mean, yes, we had a fairly decent crowd against the Jacks, just under 10,000. Our lowest attendance, I think, was 1,700. I'm pretty sure it was just over 1,700, believe it or not, against Walsall. And we averaged 3,300. I mean, obviously 2 or 3 seasons previous to that in podcasts, I mentioned that we were getting 7,000, which was pretty decent. I mean, in those days, even your bigger clubs were getting big clubs were getting 20, 25,000. So, that was the old Premier League. So, we were pretty good. 7,000 was all right. We had some good gates, especially at Ninian Park, with the atmosphere. 7,000, was much louder than 15,000 at the new Cardiff City Stadium. So yeah, we ended the season, as I said, 22nd out of 24 teams, to be relegated, as I said, to what it was the old 4th Division. And as I said, Alan Durbin had to go. And yeah, as you can see from that league table, you can see that it's really disastrous. And fans will be interested with Wolves as well. Being in the old 4th Division, now in the Premier League, established in the Premier League, you can see how things can change for certain clubs. For City, it just sort of went from bad to worse. And I know I'm going to do podcasts, every Tuesday, but the 80s weren't a great time for Cardiff City in general. As I said, there wasn't a sugar daddy owner. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone local who had the money to take him on during this period of time. So, City fans were used to seeing small crowds at Ninian Park, and pretty poor players all around. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, the 85-86 season. Trying to make it a little bit briefer, not letting it go on too long, but it just sort of gives you a summary. And it's good, I think, to see some of the old players and see if you remember some of the faces. So thanks very much for watching Bluebird Corner. I say if you do subscribe, you will be in a draw this month for the £250 gift card, which we were giving away courtesy of our sponsors, Top Tier Cleaning. That can be used at any number of pubs and restaurants in South Wales. We did it last month, our launch, and it was a big success. I said we're well over 13,000 views already, and we've only been going less than a month. So thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you next week. Take care.